The movie starts with a North Korean officer named Ryoo-won getting a mission briefing from a Scarface colonel. The colonel makes it clear, this mission is more important than life. In other words, he's sending Ryu to his death. He also warns that if they ever meet again, it will be as enemies, and only one of them will survive. 2 years later, Ryu is in South Korea, living a miserable life under a fake identity. To blend in, he pretends to be a clueless fool named Dong-gu. The local kids mock him, throw stones at him, and treat him like dirt. A kind but frugal woman takes him in, looking after him like a mother. Despite his top-tier combat skills, fluency in multiple languages, and expertise with weapons, he's stuck acting like an idiot. But he takes his mission seriously. Every morning, he makes his nose run and stumbles down the stairs to keep up the act. He works at the woman's kiosk, where kids constantly steal soy sausages from him, thinking he doesn't notice. But he keeps track of every single stolen snack. A seductive woman from the neighborhood often visits the shop, and her revealing outfits make it hard for him to stay focused. He earns a tiny salary, which he stores in a Chupa Chups tin. He's thrilled to have saved 200,000 won, about $140, dreaming that when he returns to North Korea, he'll be a millionaire and buy an apartment. To the locals, he's just a harmless loser, but in reality, he has carefully studied everyone's habits and routines. Dong-gu has a crush on a girl named Yuran, who is always kind to him and even seems to like him a little. Yuran is a 22-year-old accounting clerk at a small company and gets hit on by guys all the time. But her younger brother, a high school student, constantly mocks Dong-gu to make sure someone like him doesn't get close to his sister. However, there's one person in the neighborhood who knows the truth about Dong-gu, the local delivery guy. He's also a North Korean agent, but has been undercover for so long that he's started to forget his true identity. He's unsure if he's even serving his homeland anymore. But Dong-gu reminds him of his duty, making sure he never even thinks about betraying his country. To keep up his cover as a fool, Dong-gu does something extreme. He publicly defecates in the middle of the neighborhood, like a stray dog. He never expected Yuran to be among the witnesses. The embarrassment crushes him. The next day, the girl who used to be friendly now avoids him completely. Jo-duk, the son of the woman who took Dong-gu in, treats him like a younger brother. He decides to teach Dong-gu how to fight, so no one bullies him again. In his mind, Dong-gu imagines landing a perfect jab and sending Jo-duk flying with an uppercut. But in reality, he keeps playing the fool. Then the delivery man gives Dong-gu an envelope. Inside is a photo of his mother, a woman he hasn't seen in 11 years. She's the only connection he has left to North Korea, the one thing keeping him from forgetting where he truly belongs. Dong-gu often writes letters to his mother, hoping to give them to her one day. One day, while delivering groceries with his foster brother, he notices signs of an intruder. Something feels off. He quickly realizes there's a spy in the area. But is this person a friend or an enemy? Later that evening, during his workout, the spy approaches him. He has bleached hair and looks like a K-pop star. They fight, but it feels more like playful sparring. As they exchange blows, memories of their teenage years in a North Korean training camp come rushing back. Back then, they were rival squad leaders, always competing against each other. Dong-gu is suspicious. Why would North Korea send another agent to the same location? The spy, his old rival, admits that his mission is to keep an eye on Dong-gu and test his loyalty. But Dong-gu doesn't trust him. The next morning, he decides to follow the spy. What he discovers is surprising. The guy is trying out for a local rock band. But his North Korean guitar skills are so bad that even elementary school kids could outplay him. Among the other contestants, he looks completely out of place. I wasn't expecting that. Guys in the South surely can sing. After the audition, Dong-gu talks to an orange-haired man who reveals his mission to blend in as a rock star. Dong-gu is confused. Why does he have to play the fool while his comrade gets to be a legend? That night, loud knocking wakes Dong-gu. It's one of the boys who always bullies him, this time in tears. His younger brother is missing, and the whole neighborhood is searching. Dong-gu quickly picks up the trail. Using his sharp senses, he analyzes the boy's urine, like Connor in Detroit, become human, then leaps across rooftops when he hears the child's voice. To stay unnoticed, he grabs some clothes from a laundry line for a quick disguise. He eventually finds the boy at the barber's house. Turns out, the kid just came for cookies. The barber, secretly interested in the boy's mother, is trying to win over her children. But then, disaster strikes. The neighbors arrive and see Dong-gu in a strange outfit. They mistake him for a kidnapper. Thinking fast, Dong-gu uses his agility to escape. The next day, South Korean intelligence interrogates a captured North Korean spy. The prisoner spills a shocking secret. 16 years ago, North Korea created Squad 54, an elite unit of sleeper agents trained to infiltrate the South and execute any order when the time comes. Later, a delivery man visits Dong-gu. He's another sleeper agent, and his mission is over. He's going back to North Korea. But there's a problem. His family was caught trying to escape to China. Now he wants a gun. His plan? Kill a few South Korean officials before taking his own life, hoping it might save his family. Dong-gu tells him to stay calm and not act recklessly. He gives him a gun that's unloaded. Before sending him away, Dong-gu leaves him with parting words. Stay loyal to the Republic till your last breath. Survive and return home. That's the only way you might see your family again, even if it's in prison. Meanwhile, a mysterious assassin kills the captured North Korean spy who talked about Squad 54. Realizing the threat, South Korean authorities form a special unit to take them down. That evening, Dong-gu writes another letter to his mother, admitting he might never return to North Korea. He adds it to a pile of unsent letters. Suddenly, a stranger points a gun at his head. Dong-gu stays calm and asks, "Do you even know who you're aiming at?" The man doesn't answer. It turns out he's the same shooter who killed a traitor earlier that day. Instead of pulling the trigger, he says he was only testing Dong-gu's loyalty, then vanishes. Dong-gu chases him across rooftops, but the man escapes. A woman from the red light district spots Dong-gu and invites him for some fun. Instead, he takes her on a carousel ride. As they talk, she opens up about her painful past. "My real name is Ha," she says with tears in her eyes. At 18, she had a child, but her parents gave him up for adoption in the US. She still misses him. Dong-gu walks her home, then shares his strange encounter with a rocker friend who doesn't seem too bothered. On his way home, Dong-gu realizes he's being followed by the same stranger. This time, he outsmarts him and corners him. Shockingly, the man turns out to be Ha-jin, a former subordinate who once idolized Dong-gu. They barely get a word in before Ha-jin slips away again. These run-ins shake Dong-gu. It's been years since he last saw another North Korean intelligence officer, and now two have appeared in one night. The next morning, Dong-gu runs into Ha-jin again, this time disguised as a high school student in South Korea. His mission? To befriend Urun's brother, the same guy who constantly bullies Dong-gu, to keep him away from his sister. That evening, Dong-gu confronts Ha-jin, trying to learn more about his plans. Ha-jin reveals he's replacing CIO Sang-gu, a chubby spy posing as a delivery man. Meanwhile, they witness Urun's boss shamelessly harassing her. Dong-gu urges Ha-jin to step in, but he refuses, accusing Dong-gu of getting too attached to the locals. Instead, they take matters into their own hands. They kidnap Urun's boss, dress him in the same outfit that once got Dong-gu mistaken for a pervert, and blackmail him with incriminating photos. Their message is clear: stay away from Urun, or else. The next morning, the three secret agents enjoy a light-hearted moment on the store's rooftop where Dong-gu works. Suddenly, they spot trouble, local thugs threatening the woman who took Dong-gu in. They warn her that buying from other suppliers will bring serious consequences. Dong-gu can't just stand by. Without dropping his goofy act, he shifts the thugs' attention onto himself. When one of them shoves the woman, he quickly steps in, breaking her fall. But their threats leave him uneasy. Did she suspect he was only pretending to be a fool? That evening, her son, a police intern, comes home determined to track down the thugs. Meanwhile, Dong-gu approaches a schoolboy working at a gas station and asks for help. The thugs had captured his so-called stepbrother when he tried to confront them. The schoolboy easily defeats the gang and rescues him. Afterward, Dong-gu, still keeping up his foolish act, listens as his stepbrother tells him, "You have to be strong to protect your family. But don't worry, I'll take care of mine. You can count on me. Stop blaming God." The next day, during a barbecue with neighbors and friends, Dong-gu realizes something. He's changing. This life, these people, they're getting to him. And that scares him. Meanwhile, in North Korea, a scar-faced colonel meets with the minister. The minister wants better relations with South Korea, but the presence of spies from Squad 54 could ruin everything. His solution? Bring them back, disband the squad, declare them traitors, execute them, and erase all records. But the colonel offers a different plan. Instead of dying as traitors, why not let them die as heroes? He promises to give them a final mission, self-destruction in South Korea. Dong-gu's peaceful life comes crashing down when his pager beeps with a chilling order: self-destruct. Soon, a wave of mysterious deaths sweeps through South Korea. The schoolboy confronts Dong-gu, realizing he's still alive, meaning he disobeyed the order. He intends to execute him. A heated argument erupts among the three spies. Dong-gu is willing to follow orders, but before he does, he needs to know, will the Republic take care of his mother? Meanwhile, South Korean intelligence is stunned by the sudden surge in deaths. But their special forces leader isn't shocked. Orders come down to stay out of it and let the enemy spies complete their mission. But he refuses to stand by. He's going to save whoever's left. The leader of the South Korean Special Unit finds Dong-gu and tells him to refuse the mission. They talk and Dong-gu learns that the officer is also from Squad 54 but defected to South Korea. The officer doesn't want young people dying for a cause that isn't worth it. Dong-gu attacks the officer and chases after him, but the South Korean Special Forces capture him. Dong-gu goes to the barber and cuts his hair, showing his true self to those who care about him. They drop the kids near home and head to an old building where they had previously met a fat courier. They asked him to bring weapons, but when he hands over a bag, it only contains bricks. They realize the courier isn't on their side. He admits his real job is to watch the spies and make sure they don't betray the country. Susan Hook, the courier's henchwoman, shows up and a fight breaks out. During the fight, Dong-gu learns that when a spy is sent on a mission, their family is thrown in prison. Because Dong-gu didn't follow orders to kill himself, his mother was executed. Just then, the scarred colonel and his assistant arrive, along with the South Korean Special Forces. The boy they captured escapes from the car and takes out several North Korean snipers to save his captain. Dong-gu and the rock star try to escape to the roof, but are caught by the colonel and his men. The rock star fights the colonel's men, while Dong-gu faces the scarred villain. The colonel is stronger, and just as he's about to kill Dong-gu, the South Korean Special Forces show up. The schoolboy, disguised as one of them, shoots the colonel. The colonel tries to blow himself up with a grenade, but the rock star sacrifices himself, grabbing the colonel and falling off the roof with him. The schoolboy tries to protect his commander, still grieving his mother's death. Dong-gu finds a savings book in his pocket, left by the woman who cared for him. He remembers how she called him her son and had been saving money for him. In despair, he shouts that he wants to return to the family he's grown to love. But in panic, the schoolboy shoots the head of the special unit, and a shootout begins. Dong-gu holds his protege as they're hit by bullets and fall from the roof, their lifeless bodies lying below. In the background, we hear their conversation about who they hope to be in the next life.